It's Friday, June 24th, 2016, and it's your final coffee break of the week. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rob Adams in for Kate Chaplinski. Donald Eng is over at the sports desk and, of course, always anchoring the history desk. We'll have that for you a little bit later on. I'll have the weather for you as we move through this final Friday, believe it or not, of the month of June 2016. Beautiful day outside. We'll give you the full forecast in just a few minutes, but we begin with the headlines. Shortly before 7 this morning, the Route 825 connector in Bridgeport was reopened to full capacity after being in a traffic shift since June 11th for the first stage of bridge replacement. Southbound traffic was reduced to 2 lanes and shifted onto the northbound side of the highway, and northbound traffic was reduced to 3 lanes. Southbound traffic has now returned to the newly reconstructed southbound barrel, and both north and southbound traffic have been returned to 4 travel lanes. The project was completed in just 2 weeks after the replacement bridge sections were constructed separately nearby and then hauled to the site via local streets. Speed was key to the project, as an estimated 88,000 vehicles use that stretch of highway every day. The Exit 5 on-ramp to the Route 25-8 connector southbound from Chopsy Hill Road has been reopened as well. Next up for the $35 million project is the replacement of the Lindley Street and Capitol Avenue bridges, and is expected to be completed in September. In a follow-up to a story we brought you yesterday, pressure from Trumbull residents has proven strong enough to cave in a curb that was installed earlier this week. That curb blocked the Main Street entrance to Broadway Road as seen in these photos. The State Department of Transportation ultimately made the decision alongside the Fire Marshal's Office, the town zoning enforcement officer, the Planning and Zoning Department, Trumbull Police Works Department, and the Deputy Chief of the Trumbull Police Department Wednesday night. The curb was removed Thursday morning following several reported near collisions at the intersection. In addition to the curb, a sign that read "No Through Traffic" after June 20th was turned down, and other signs in the area covered with black bags. While the curbing and signs have been removed, orange safety cones remain on site to alert drivers of the development going on in the area. Property owner Sam DeVellis was reportedly responsible for building out the curb to comply with state traffic requirements. The town is expected to file an expedited permit that will close the street off. The end goal for the project is to close Whitney Avenue to make it part of Long Hill Green. You can read more about this at TrumbullTimes.com. A Milford man was arrested for allegedly stealing money from his grandmother. According to Milford police, 25-year-old Michael Monroe of Meadows End Road was arrested for fraudulently cashing checks totaling $600 from his grandmother's account between June 12th and 17th. Monroe is charged with larceny and forgery. He was held in police custody on $1,000 bond. An elderly Bridgeport woman was arrested after she refused to get off a bus at the Westfield Trumbull Mall on Thursday. Police said Jeannie Rogers, 70 years old, threatened and insulted a bus driver at the shopping park after trying to obtain a senior discount. According to a police report, the driver asked for Rogers' driver's license, and she became very upset and unruly. She made several disparaging remarks about the female driver's sexual orientation, according to the report, before the Greater Bridgeport Transit Authority employee asked the 70-year-old woman to get off the bus, which she refused. Rogers then called 911. Trumbull police responded to the scene and found that Rogers was uncooperative. The report said that she told police the only way she was getting off the bus was, quote, in handcuffs, and demanded that her ticket be refunded. She was charged with interfering with the duties of an officer and breach of peace in the second degree. A 40-year-old Stamford man reported $780 in cash stolen from his pickup truck, which was parked near a construction site on Raiders Lane in Darien. The cash and credit cards had been left bound with a rubber band in the front seat of the car, but the vehicle had been left unlocked with the windows open. The man had been working at a home nearby when he told police the theft took place. Police spoke to a flagman at the Raiders Lane construction site who said he had a full view of the truck but didn't know how long it had been there. Several pedestrians had passed through the area, and the flagman did not report any suspicious activity. A background check showed that the flagman had a prior criminal history, prompting police to conduct a second interview. The 35-year-old Stanford man denied taking the money and allowed a search of his person and car, but the cash was not found. Police thanked the man for his cooperation and are still investigating the theft. To Wilton now, a controversial variance application that sought setback relief in order to reassemble and preserve the 18th century Jackson Neely house on an undersized Honey Hill Road parcel in Wilton was withdrawn ahead of the close of its public hearing this week. The 3-month-long hearing was last continued May 17th because the Zoning Board of Appeals needed legal advice as to whether or not it has the jurisdiction to grant variances on parcels that aren't designated as building lots. Town Council's legal opinion was no, they do not have the jurisdiction, but that isn't why Peter Gaboriel and Kevin Quinlan withdrew the application. They withdrew it because Associate Town Counsel Patricia Sullivan didn't submit her memorandum until June 20th, the deadline for the close of the hearing. The applicant's attorney, citing a deadline to extend the hearing, told the ZBA that they are withdrawing the application so it can be refiled later this month, thus allowing new public hearings. You can read much more of this and the history of the Jackson Neely house at wiltonbulletin.com. Two Ridgefield selectmen with extensive real estate experience, Steve Zemo and Bob Hebert, were charged by fellow board members with acting as the town's negotiating team with potential uses of both the Philip Johnson building and the nearby auditorium, or Schlumberger Theater, which the town has taken over. In both cases, there are parties interested in restoring the buildings at their own cost and then leasing or eventually buying them. ACT of CT, a Ridgefield-based group that wants to do stage productions and dramatic arts education, is interested in the theater building. And Bassam Fellows, a design firm based in New Canaan, is interested in restoring and using the Philip Johnson building as offices. The late modernist architect Philip Johnson, who designed that building, also lives in and designed the famous Glass House in New Canaan. Ridgefielder Dick Larson, chairman of the now disbanded Schlumberger Citizens Committee, attended this week's Ridgefield Board of Selectmen's meeting and said two committee members versed in real estate, Andy Baymeyer and Tim O'Connor, would be willing to support the negotiations and meet with the two selectmen. Read more at theridgefieldpress.com. Time to take a look at your forecast. A sunny day with a high near 81. Tonight, mostly clear, low 57. Saturday, sunny and 82. We drop down to 59 under clear skies for Saturday night, while we're at a sunny sky on Sunday and 87 degrees. Mostly sunny and a high near 85 on Monday to Tuesday, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny, and 81 otherwise. Partly sunny and 79 for Wednesday, and partly sunny and 81 for Thursday. Stanford, you're at 74. Wilton at 76, and right here in Shelton, it's 80 degrees. When we return, Don's got some history for us. He also has sports. We'll have a little more. It's also time to take a look at some of the top stories of the week. We'll do all that and more when your coffee break continues after this on the HAN Network.
Connecticut is coming back to hometown banking, to a partner that makes small businesses feel big, where community comes first, where you get the know-how only neighbors can deliver, where saving time is important too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well. With the 24-month Bank Well Smart CD, you can earn 1.35% APY and raise your rate and add to your CD.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Keep your future star active and happy this summer at Future Stars Sports Academy camps and clinics. The Academy is offering sessions throughout Fairfield County. Sign up for a week of basketball, cheerleading, football, or a multi-sports camp. At Future Stars Academy, children learn the fundamentals while under the supervision of qualified coaches. And what sets the Academy apart is its special Lessons of Life sessions, teaching values and focusing on building self-esteem, friendships, and honesty. Located at Sports Center Connecticut in Shelton and in Sports in Trumbull. Register online at futurestarssportsacademy.com.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to your coffee break on the HAN Network. A happy Friday to you. Sunny skies outside. I'm Rob Adams, looking pretty nice, and even sunnier is Donald Eng, who will take a look at history for us.
That was good. I was not expecting that one.
You know, I started with the fastball until the last minute. I said, here's a nice curve. Have fun with that.
All right. Well, you know, on this day, a science fiction staple was inadvertently created by a pilot and fire extinguisher salesman. But first, we're going to go to 1812. French Emperor Napoleon orders the Grande Armée, the largest European military force ever assembled, into Russia. By 1812, only two European nations, England and Russia, were not under his control, and he decided to invade the one that his land-based army could most easily reach, or so he thought. The enormous army featured some 500,000 soldiers and staff, including troops from all of the European countries under the French Empire. 6 months after invading Russia, the remnants of the army, now numbering less than 100,000, retreated from Russia. Napoleon falling victim to one of the classic blunders as he got involved in a land war in Asia. 1964, the Federal Trade Commission announces that starting in 1965, cigarette manufacturers would be required to include warnings on their packaging about the harmful effects of smoking. The dramatic reduction in smoking between then and now is widely credited with the average U.S. life expectancy for men, who always smoked more than women, growing from 66 in 1964 to nearly 79 now. 1993, Yale University computer scientist David Galertner seriously injured while opening his mail when a padded envelope explodes in his hands. The attack came just 2 days after a University of California geneticist was injured by a similar bomb, and they were the latest in a string of bombings since 1978 that authorities believe to be related, though they were the first in 6 years. Ted Kaczynski, a former mathematician living as a recluse in Lincoln, Montana, eventually pleaded guilty to sending 17 mail bombs, mostly targeting airline executives and college professor, which led the FBI to file the case as the University and Airline Bomber, abbreviated Unabomb, leading the press to call him the Unabomber. And finally, now we go to 1947. Look at this.
Right here we've seen something, I've seen something, hundreds of pilots have seen something in the skies. We have dutifully reported these things. And we have to have 15 million witnesses before anybody's going to look into the problem seriously. Why, this is utterly fantastic. This is more fantastic than flying saucers or people from Venus or anything, as far as I'm concerned.
The greatest surprise was when Arnold reported his sighting to the nearest U.S. military airbase. He found on the wall of the commander's office this classified gun sight photograph, which bore a remarkable resemblance to what Arnold claimed he had just seen, and Shaver had discussed 3 years before.
It's a search and rescue pilot and fire suppression business owner Kenneth Arnold reports seeing flying saucers over Mount Rainier, Washington. No, well, not really. Arnold was an experienced pilot, reported seeing disc-shaped objects moving at nearly 1,500 miles per hour. Asked by a reporter to describe how they flew, he said they moved like fish flipping in the sun or a saucer skipping over water. Arnold said such sightings were not rare among pilots, but his was the first widely reported UFO sighting in modern history and the first use of the term flying saucer. That is your look back in history for today, June 24th, and I'm Donald Eng.
Don, thank you very much. Interesting stuff there as always. And now we're going to go right back over to Don. Don's got sports.
Yes, now manning the sports desk.
That was very well done. And it wasn't even noticed in the shot how quickly you changed.
And isn't it amazing? At the sports desk now, we go to American Legion Baseball in the 19 and under action. Tyler Zekias held Westport bats in check. Trumbull scored 8 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Post 141 completes a 3-game sweep with a 10-0 Mercy Rule victory at Trumbull High. Zekias pitched 5 innings of 3-hit ball with 1 strikeout, 4 walks. Justin Waldick struck out all 3 batters he faced in the 6th. In other scores, Greenwich beat Bridgeport 7-0, Norwalk 6, Ridgefield 0, Wilton 2-1 over Darien New Canaan, and Stamford 6-1 over Fairfield. In the 17 and under division, Greenwich all over Bridgeport 17-1, Stamford 9, Fairfield 3, Darien New Canaan 17-8 over Wilton, and on the schedule just 3 games in the 19s action. Trumbull at Norwalk as the 17s play, Westport at Darien New Canaan, Stamford travels to Fairfield. In Danbury, the Westerners broke a scoreless tie with 1 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th to beat Newport 3-0. Nick Gallagher from New Fairfield picked up the no decision despite twirling a 3-hitter over 6 innings and striking out 8. Ryan Testani of Shelton worked the final 3 innings to get the win. James Venuto's 7th inning single broke the deadlock. The Westerners are in Sanford, Maine tonight. From the Atlantic League, Bridgeport topped the Long Island Ducks 6-5 in 10 innings. Louis Nunez's RBI single was the game winner. That series continues tonight on 50,000 penny drop night. The New Britain Bees also topped the Lancaster Barnstormers 5-4. The Yard Goats beat the Flying Squirrels of Richmond 4-2. The Goats got 3 in the 7th to take the lead for good. The Connecticut Tigers broke a scoreless tie with a one run in the 6th and 2 in the 7th, then held on for the 3-2 win. They're back at it tonight. And in softball, the Stratford Brakettes beat the Connecticut Seahawks 20-0 over 2 games. In Game 1, the Brakettes led 4-0 after 1, then cruised to an 8-0 win. In the nightcap, the Brakettes scored 10 in the 1st and 2 more in the 3rd before the game was halted under the Mercy Rule. So good stuff. A lot of local games happening tonight in Bridgeport, New Britain, back in Stratford, also more games. So, good night to get out and see some games.
Absolutely. Get out and see some games. Plus, the NBA draft was last night. The NHL draft is coming up. So there's a bunch of things going on.
Yeah, the sports never takes a break.
Really doesn't. Plenty of good sports this weekend, plenty of baseball as well. Don, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to some news headlines now. Most of Connecticut's congressional delegation will be holding a press conference later this morning calling for increased gun control. Senator Chris Murphy, who held a 15-hour filibuster demanding tighter restrictions, and Senator Richard Blumenthal will be joined by Democratic Congressman John Larson, Rosa DeLauro, and Elizabeth Esty, who, with 4th District Congressman Jim Himes, led a sit-in on the House floor demanding votes on bills that would prohibit those on federal watch lists from buying guns and expand background checks. To Milford now, the Turkish Cultural Center Connecticut is moving to 9 Research Drive in Milford after a unanimous vote by the city's Planning and Zoning Board Tuesday. The center, currently in West Haven, organizes educational and cultural activities such as art exhibits, concerts, lectures, and dinners, and also hosts workshops, cooking classes, and programs about Turkey and Turkish culture. The center is moving from 8,000 square feet of rental space at 827 Campbell Avenue, West Haven, to a 14,700 square foot building in Milford currently owned by Word Search Realty of West Haven and valued at $970,000 according to the Milford assessor. Tickets to the 36th New Canaan Family 4th have gone on sale for residents and out-of-towners. The annual event at historic Waveney Park features a lot of food, music, activities, and, of course, fireworks after the sun goes down. The Family 4th fireworks is financed solely through ticket sales and donations. This year's events begin at 5 p.m. on Sunday, July 4th, with the rain date of July 5th. A major new attraction this year will be a variety of gourmet food trucks, which will be stationed at the parking lot near the softball field. Passes are $35 for New Canaan residents and $65 for non-residents. A pass includes entry for, quote, a carload of people. I like that. Passes can be purchased in person at the New Canaan Recreation Office, Walter Stewart's Market, and the New Canaan Toy Store, or online at newcanaan.info. You can also find a lot more information at ncadvertiser.com. Theo Aris of Reading, a student at Washington College in Maryland, seen in the middle of a picture you're about to get a look at right there, was looking at a 500-mile journey home from school this summer. While most students would be calling their parents, begging not to take the Greyhound bus home, he had a different plan. He enlisted a crew of friends, bought a 27-foot sailing boat for the $33 registration fee, salvaged some cushions from an old ambulance, and set off on a 10-day journey from the Chesapeake Bay to Pequot Harbor in Southport, where his parents did agree to pick him up. Aris told the Reading Pilot that on the first day out, he realized that because he doesn't usually get seasick, he didn't account for his crew getting seasick. But there was definitely a need to take every precaution with seasickness. Said Aris, quote, "We had to stay on deck for at least 8 hours and take Dramamine every 8 hours. When a boat is under 30 feet, everyone gets seasick, especially in the waves we had." That's the end quote. Nonetheless, through seasickness and a few patches of stormy weather, he and his crew managed to make it ashore in Southport on June 13th, 10 days after their journey began. He had set sail with longtime sailing teammate Nathan Arndt on June 3rd, and the pair picked up Aris's college rowing teammate Z Ali on June 6th. You can read a lot more about this voyage at thereadingpilot.com. Pretty cool stuff there. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the top stories for the week, and we'll get ready to say farewell for this week right here on your coffee break on the HAN Network.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester, where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State?
Join Kate Chaplinsky
And Josh Fisher
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to each week.
With the help of HAN's editorial cartoonist Doug Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN Network.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday right here on the HAN Network. I don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. He's right over there right now. That's Donald Eng. I'm Rob Adams, in for Kate Chaplinsky. And we've got our top 10 stories that we can take a look now from this week. And while tempting as it might be to go into Casey Kasem mode, we'll do it from top to bottom in this case. Beginning with the top story from the Trumbull Times, from Steve Coulter, writing about the increased pedestrian traffic from the Pequannock River Trail being the silver bullet that Trumbull's current administration hoping will cure Trumbull Center of its empty storefronts. And of course, they do need some activity down at Trumbull Center, and it kind of got kicked off by a Facebook post. It prompted leadership for sure to kind of talk about what their plans are. So that is something you can read online at TrumbullTimes.com, our top story of the week from Steve Coulter. Next up, down the line in Stratford, well, a little bit of trouble down there at the Quality Inn and the Quality Inn at 1500 South Avenue in Stratford. As Stratford Police Narcotics Vice and Intelligence Unit and the Bridgeport Police Tactical Narcotics Team executed the joint sting operation with 12 people facing prostitution charges. So a little bit of trouble from Stratford at that Quality Inn. You can read more about it from Melvin Mason in Stratford. Among the other things of note, our third story came from the Trumbull Times once again, and well, not all of us may love American Idol, but fans do love to come out and watch American Idols as they kind of hit the stage. And in this case, they were keeping an eye on a visitor coming out and checking out the activities of that former American Idol performer. So good job there. Has crashed a Shelton pool party. Again, stuff you can read online. We move over to Trumbull once again, and in this case, it's the Broadway Club. I had my stories backwards, by the way, from Eric, just so I can give him the update. That Shelton Herald story was the American Idol one. Now we can go to this Trumbull one that I had queued up on my screen. That is the Broadway curb igniting social media backlash, and of course, it's the story we talked about right here on this edition of the program. You can see that curb, well, caused people some headaches and maybe even a few car aches as well. So that was at the Main Street entrance to Broadway Road, and it was something we saw a few times here on Coffee Break this week. A story we talked about over on Nutmeg Sports comes up next, and that would be Danny Melzer, a really good guy, coach of Stanford High, as you see right there. That's when he was coach and athlete at Stanford High, was a Black Knight, and is now moved on to become a New Canaan Ram. Dave Stewart writing that he will be the new head coach, Danny Melzer will, not Dave Stewart. Danny Melzer will be the new head coach at New Canaan High School's boys basketball program, so congratulations to him. Over to Darien now, Dan Arestia writing about the farewell for the class of 2016 at Darien High School. So, of course, many in the area, all the students now finished for the season and for the school year, with Greenwich being one of the last just earlier this week. We had some video from Andrew Mitchell, and thanks to him for that. Let's stay in Darien for a moment, and Susan Schultz writing about a former Darien broker admitting to stealing more than $1.2 million from a client, Robert Tricarico, who now lives in Milford, could face up to 20 years in prison. You can read that at DarienTimes.com. From New Canaan, our eighth story, the New Canaan School Board gets a student enrollment update, so something you can read online at ncadvertiser.com, and that was written by Rich Durazo. Staying in New Canaan, a Stanford man charged after the report of an incident in a parking lot in New Canaan. That's our ninth story, and the 10th story of the week from Monroe. In the Courier was the obituary of Forrest Alexander Ryan, just, of course, 24 years old, and a very sad story coming out of Monroe. And with all that said, we have reached the end of another long week here on the HAN Network. We have a sunny day with a high near 81. Temperatures will stay like that throughout the weekend. Sunny and 82 tomorrow, sunny and 87 on Sunday. Temperatures staying to sunny and 85 on Monday, and in the upper 70s for Wednesday and Thursday. Tuesday, our only potential headache with chances of showers and thunderstorms. Stanford, you stay at 74. Wilton at 76 right here in Shelton. It's 80 degrees. Kate's back with you on Monday. I shift back over to Don's spot. Don will still have history. I'll handle sports and weather. Thanks to Eric Gendron. That'll do it for Coffee Break for this week. Enjoy your entire weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. For all of them, I'm Rob Adams.